between a man and a woman, which one is more important or more valuable? Hi, my name is Sarah. I met myself in my own dream. I would like to share this knowledge with like minds who are waking up. In today's episode, we look at the importance of coupling when we are in gender wars. The males and females were created as divine beings of equal standing under the eyes of the Prime Creator. And therefore, the difference which exists in male and female is not one of value, but one of polarity. And when we are talking about these polarities, what we come to realize that by understanding the polarities between the male and female, then we come to recognize the importance of coupling in manifestation, in loving each other, and also in ascension. The male are more electrical. That is to mean that they have more power in transmitting energy. The females are magnetic. This means that they are very good in pulling in energy. Now, both male and female have both of these polarities, but the male are more dominant, or they have more power in transmitting energy than receiving. The female have more power in receiving energy than transmitting. Now, the importance of coupling is to magnify each other's recessive abilities. So, because the males are more dominant in transmitting energy, they need to get that power of pulling in energy for them to be whole and to ascend. The female, on the other hand, because they are very dominant in pulling in energy and they do not have much ability in transmitting the energy, then they need the male in order to amplify their ability to transmit the frequencies. So, in other words, the coupling brings together all these abilities to make it one or whole for both genders to become one and be able to ascend. So, as we can see, there's no more advantage in having more ability in one polarity than the other. Now, the divine order of coupling or sexual union was to combine these polarities, combine these energies and amplify them and become one. This was the divine order of sexual union, to become one. But over time, because of the changes in belief systems, both male and female started looking at the opposite sex as a way of gaining power or getting power and control. We can look at our history when we look at, for example, those who are able to remember in the ancient time, there's a time when the female started dominating and seeing themselves as more important than the male. And we had societies which were more matriarchal societies, especially in recent Egypt. And this created karma in the future, where now in the recent past we have had males also portraying themselves as more dominant over the females. And this has led to even more distortion and more polarities in the both genders. And it has not been able to achieve the sole purpose of sexual union between the male and the female. Uh, in order for the male and the female to become whole, they have to unify these polarities. We have a genetic twin in this physical reality. In a three-dimensional reality that we are in, these twins are referred to as fraternal twins, identical twins, and Siamese twins. Fraternal twins come from two separate seeds or two eggs. The identical twins come from one seed. Now, we also have a gender twin. Gender twins also come from the same seed. The difference between the genetics twin and the gender twin is that the genetic twin comes from human seed, but the gender twin comes from the God seed. And therefore, your gender twin is your divine complement, or what most people refer to as a twin flame. Now, our universe also has a twin, which is known as a parallel universe. Our planet Earth has a twin, which is known as a parallel Earth. So all these are the same. The only difference is in their polarities. One tends to be more magnetic, while the other tends to be more electric. So on our stairway to heaven, we also have a twin. Our sun also has a twin. And the idea of ascension is combining these energies of these twins for ascension. When a being incarnates on the planet, they take as part of their genetic code, part of their DNA template, that first set of vibrational variances of the time frame that the planet is in. Then they will have a certain vector, which is smaller cycle. Within that cycle, that will be a single line time vector that they will perceive. We have time cycles which govern our density level. There are 6 what we call time continua, which are smaller cycles, and they govern cycles of evolution on our planetary body. Then within continuum cycles, there are even smaller cycles called time vectors. When incarnations come in, they place themselves in time vector. One of those specific sets of vibration within a set of vibration within a set of vibration. And the process of moving from birth through death is a process of moving your consciousness from a point of its lowest frequency, bringing in more energy and raising the frequency of the consciousness, which gives you a perceptual hologram of moving through moments, forward, backward, through time and space-time. It's a holographic projection that we are walking around, but you won't have that perception until you have your 4th or 5th DNA strand activated. When you start to go into the 4th strand activation, you will start to play with the concept of time, and you might play with it seriously. The DNA strand templates are very important if spirituality is important to you, because it is through your DNA strand template that your higher consciousness holds that recognition, because it has to come in the body. As we activate DNA, we experience forward movement of your consciousness through time within the vessel that the template is in, and as we progressively expand, picking more of those frequencies in the DNA activating our template, we bring in more and more of the consciousness from the higher dimensional fields that is ours, and we progressively change our relationship to space-time. It becomes less and less a real thing to us the further we evolve. What you find in the process of activating DNA that incorporate and integrate your spiritual identity is not only does your consciousness expand, but that your body from your body form changes with that expansion. The body forms can hold only so much energy. The human body can hold 12 dimensions of frequency running. That is good. That means that it can stand it. That means that it can undergo expansion without having to leave its association with the physical matter form. At this point in time, we know ourselves right now as me. When you get to the sixth strand activation being, you will say, I know myself as we or they. There's a knowing that comes in the emotional body. When you get this huge combination, you start to have freedom feeling because you realize that you are getting free from linear time. That is how you progressively work yourself out of linear time. You expand into space of I am 12 or I am 24 or 36, different people down there. And this one is exploring this particular time. It's like being an actor who decides to play the same time a bunch of characters who take different garments and take on different roles and different players to learn different things and to stress different things. When we incarnate, we become God as sound, or what we refer to as the Kundalini energy. We also become God as light, what we refer to as the Kirasha, and we also become God as the crystal's template of the avatar. And then we become God as dimensionalized fields below the dimension 12. They are our energy currents of the consciousness of God. When we incarnate, we take on form diversification and become affiliated with a species, a race line, a family line. We all have a crystal's matrix that our oversoul matrix came out of, which our soul matrix came from, and our soul matrix out of which we came. The density 4 crystals creates 12 oversouls in density 3. The density 3 oversoul creates a set of 12 souls in density 2. The density 2 soul self creates a set of 12 souls down in density 1. There are 144 cells in density 1 that came out of the 12 souls. This is our immediate family of consciousness. The importance of understanding the reality of incarnation is that it helps to understand your relationships down here and something called twinning. The mathematics in time matrices are based off system. We come into incarnation on what is called 12 clock. A 12 clock is a cycle of 12 simultaneous incarnations placed in various different time vectors within same half cycle. We have come into incarnation, or when we come into incarnation, visualize in your mind a round clock with 12 digits on it. If you were a soul, the numbers on the clock would represent the 12 incarnate cells that you are going to put down at the same time in the time vectors in density 1 on Earth. The first one to come are the 6 and 12 position. They carry the most energy. Out of the 12 comes the 3 position, and at the same time, out of 6 comes 9 position. They are known as the 4 faces of the soul because they carry most of the energy of the soul. Then there are smaller cycles that would fill in the numbers in between the 12, 6, 3, and 9. If you take a clock and draw the lines across from each number, you will notice that each number has a number directly across from it that represents the smaller cycles. When you incarnate, you come in most of the time, half and half. The first time you come in as a soul, then first 2 incarnations are placed in time vectors that represent 6 and 12 positions in the 12 cycle, which would be either male or female. There's a formula to incarnation that becomes a reality for us. Angelic humans have 1728 cells running around in one 15-dimensional time matrix. If you are an indigo, you have many more. An indigo 2 with a 24-strand double diamond DNA template would have 3,456 cells. An indigo 1 with a 14-strand DNA template would have 6,912 cells in one 15-dimensional time matrix. That is a lot of you. When we talk about the 12 cycles of the 12 clock, it shows the process that happens when we get into numbers with respect to incarnation. Look at incarnation as a mathematical process, a spiritual process that uses a form of mathematics to express itself. Mathematics is really a form that God uses to express parts of its consciousness. So for you, if you want to understand God better, then understand mathematics better.